Okay, my mystery knit-alongers, just a quick video to show you how to seam. So normally when we're seaming our knitting that's going in the same direction, but because our blankets knit this way and that way, we're seaming off axis. So if you've watched my previous video on sewing in your ends, you'll know that I talk about two different needle types, one being sharp and one being blunt, and I use my sharp one for sewing in my ends and I use my blunt one for seaming. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration and then I'm going to finish my bear, which is calling my name. Okay, so you can seam from your tail, which is what I'm going to do for the purpose of this video, or you can get a fresh thread. And the goal here is not to create a massive ridge. The goal here is to lace up a knitting from side to side. And so the simplest way to do that is to lay them flat, and you can create milestones a bit like you do when you're sewing. So you could put a pin in each section so that you know you're working the right amount. And I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see this. I'm just picking up and zigzagging across, probably in there. Sometimes I have a go and I need to come back in, undo it and have another if I don't like the way it looks. Which is why I use a blunt needle, because it's not piercing the knitting and it can be pulled out later. So you'll notice that I'm zigzagging back and forth or lacing back and forth, and I'm not pulling that tight. I'm getting a few locked in, and in real life I would have got a fresh thread for this because this one's clearly not long enough. Okay, to audition it, pull it tight and just have a look at that and see if you're happy. I'm happy, so I would probably carry on in that vein. I might put them a little bit closer together actually. Let's see what effect that has. The good thing about seaming in this sort of lacing up method, yeah, that's better, isn't it? See the difference? I think I prefer this closer together look. Is that when we are considering how much thread do we need, when you pull the thread tight, it's going to make a straight line. So you only ever need to measure off basically as long as the thing you're sewing up is, plus a bit of extra for sewing in. So it makes it super easy. So I've tried a few different techniques there. I think it makes a nice flat finish, flat on both sides. We could tuck more into that stitch. So you could take your seam from around there, for example. But I think just have a go with your knitting and see how you think it looks. See, it's flipped it over a bit more, so I think I prefer that. Any questions, ask them below. Otherwise, it's the weekend and it's bear time. Love you all.